Beach FM, we say good morning to the Mayor of Horowhenua, Michael Feyen. Good morning, Michael.
Yeah, good morning, and good morning to listeners as well. How are you all doing today?
Oh, good. Thanks for pulling over and taking the call. Much appreciated. Now, I see where you're a little bit concerned about you not getting any money from the lack of money from the Provincial Growth Fund for the district. Have you got some applications in for that?
Yeah, there's a few applications in, and one that's being concentrated on really heavily at the moment is so that we can begin the process of opening the Manawatu River Loop at Foxton and getting the flow going. And we as a region have hardly had any funding. We had about $100,000 a while back for an educational program from school for youth to employment. And we got $100,000 to put a proposal in for the Manawatu River Loop at Foxton as well. Yes, we've decidedly not been looked after, and you do have to wonder why.
Yeah, that's right. So have you spoken to Shane Jones personally, or has the council spoken to Shane Jones to see what the story is?
Yeah, well, I spoke to Shane Jones the last time, and was when he was presenting an award at Manfields for this education project, but also just before the Molan windmill opened, or Te Horowhenua storm, I should say, and we spoke to him there and went out for a meal the night before, and he was very keen for us to put something in, and we did, but it's on the go slow at the moment. Every man and his dog's trying to get into the PGF. You have to prove so many things. You have to prove that there'll be employment, and particularly employment for Māori, and there's a whole bunch of criteria: an economic case, a social case, the cultural case, but it all comes down to dollars. So it's a bit back to front for us in a little way. If we had the loop, everything will come. If we had the flow back in the loop, but we have to get the flow back before we get operators that want to work on there on tours and the like, and that we get fish back in there, and even a possibility down the track of swimming in it. Yes,
of course, years ago we used to have a boat that did a tour around there, didn't we?
Yes, it was a hugely successful venture that Delson Halidoni ran for about 15 odd years, and used a number of premises along that waterway. You know, you go for a cover at Duncan House, and you would get a good sort of historical perspective and environmental perspective of that loop, remembering that was the Manawatu River before it was changed to course in 1943.
Right. Well, I suppose it's just a matter of crossing your fingers and pressing them to see if you can get some sort of reply out of them. You never know. Santa Claus might come.
No, we'll definitely keep the pressure on, and the case is being built by HDC and SORT and a whole bunch of other groups. Horizons have all added to it, so touch wood.
Right. Now, you're redoubling your efforts, I believe, to get the Otaki to North or Levin Expressway underway. Have we got any further ahead with that? Is anybody listening to us?
Well, I don't think we're redoubling. We've been going really, really strongly on that with letters to Minister Twyford. We have full mayoral support from all surrounding mayors in the Horizons district. We have sent mayoral letters and alongside with the CE. We got some temporary safety measures put in leading up to Christmas, which stopped the fatalities, and that's something. But there's definitely a lot of work needs to be done, and it is a high priority for the council.
Yes. Do you hold your breath a wee bit when you think about are they going to do it or aren't they going to do it? It seems though it's a forgotten highway.
I think it's the government. I'm very happy with their push for rail freight and commuter train travel and the whole stuff like that. Absolutely. But they really do need, NZTA has been in a state of turmoil for quite a long time, and there's a change of leadership, and I guess there's that whole settling in period, so that effectively slows everything down. And they are also guided by the government, the coalition party, on what they see as more important.
Yes.
We absolutely need to have Arapaipai Road, which is State Highway 57, that runs parallel to our State Highway 1 through town. That has to have something done to it to reduce speed limits along there. That's absolutely vital, and we're keeping the pressure on in that sense.
Which leads me on to my last question for you today, because I know you're rushing away, but the value of building consents in Horowhenua has hit an all-time high over the past financial year, soaring over $100 million mark for the first time. So that even gives you more feed to get this road up and running.
Oh, yes, it does that, but it also local things that we have to get in place to actually make sure that we get some money into council as a development contributions, which we haven't had any of for the last 4 or 5 years. So there's a few issues around that. We have to make sure that we've got a good water supply for all these buildings. But the affordable housing is really the problem here, because there is none anymore, and most of our workers on the factory floor, the market gardens, the farms, the supermarkets and the like, they can work a full 40-hour week and not have enough money to pay their rent.
So
that's a big, big problem we're facing here, and affordable housing is absolutely critical.
So what's the council's doing about that, Michael?
Well, there's been a councillor-led, bunch of hooies with developers, government departments, housing providers and the like. I think we're in for really difficult times along those ways. You obviously know I never support the sale of 115 of our social community housing just in the last couple of years at giveaway prices. I'll never understand why my council decided to do that, but that's what's happened, and we actually lost such potential there because we could have literally put them in the trust, apply the Ryman Healthcare sort of the business case to it. We could have kept the housing, had incoming money all the time, and been able to build from that. But we've lost that opportunity, so now we've got to sort of begin all over again, really.
You have indeed, and you've got 150 refugees coming in next year or thereabouts, so you've got to house them as well. Yes, and
we have to, it's a moral obligation for our country to take some refugees, but that is definitely adding to the equation, given that we can't house many of the people who work on the ground floor, basically.
Yeah. Michael, well, thank you for your time. Enjoy your trip wherever you may be going. We'll talk next week.
Yeah, no, all good, Nigel, and all the best to you too.
Thank you very much, Michael Feyen.
Beach FM, locals talking to locals.